When discomfort becomes your compass, the divine art of embracing change. Have you ever felt that persistent nudge, that uncomfortable feeling that something needs to change, but you keep pushing it down, hoping it'll go away? That sensation that follows you into quiet moments, whispering that there's more to life than this comfortable cage you've built? I want to tell you about a conversation that transformed my understanding of discomfort. Recently, I had the privilege of interviewing Crystal Travis, a visionary whose work has been nothing short of revolutionary in helping women, particularly Black women, embrace their authentic power through periods of transition and discomfort. Crystal isn't just a thought leader. She's a spiritual architect who has rebuilt the foundation of how thousands approach life's challenges. Her insights reveal something profound. That feeling of unease we're so quick to silence. It might be the most important voice we need to hear. What Crystal shared wasn't just inspiring, it was transformative. Her approach to navigating life's challenges has created ripples of change across communities, empowering countless women to step boldly into their purpose rather than shrinking from discomfort. Her wisdom forms the foundation of what I'm about to share with you today. We spend so much of our lives running from discomfort, don't we? We stay in jobs that drain our souls because, well, the benefits are good. We maintain relationships long past their expiration dates because starting over feels terrifying. We cling to routines that no longer serve us, all because the alternative feels uncomfortable. It's like we're all wearing shoes 2 sizes too small because we're afraid of walking barefoot for even a moment. But what if I told you that discomfort isn't a warning sign to retreat? What if it's actually a divine invitation to grow? When Crystal and I spoke, she emphasized something that struck me deeply. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your compass. Those moments when your stomach tightens, when your heart races, when your mind floods with doubt, these aren't signals to turn back. They're signposts pointing toward your evolution. They're not saying danger ahead. They're saying treasure buried here. Start digging. Think about it. Every significant growth period in human history came through discomfort. The butterfly doesn't emerge without the struggle of breaking through its chrysalis. The pearl doesn't form without the irritation of, of sand. And you don't become who you're meant to be without facing what makes you uncomfortable. Nature understands this principle perfectly. It's only humans who seem determined to avoid the very thing designed to transform us. But here's where we often get it wrong. We think growth should feel good. We've been sold this idea that if something's right for us, it should feel easy, natural, flowing. And sometimes it does. But more often, growth feels like stretching beyond what you thought possible. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff, heart pounding, wondering if you'll fly or fall. It feels like being a lobster outgrowing its shell, exposed, vulnerable, and absolutely necessary for expansion. Let me share a powerful example from Crystal Joyner's research on Black women entrepreneurs. These women aren't just starting businesses, they're leading a quiet revolution. Despite facing systemic barriers like limited capital access and underrepresentation, they're turning necessity into opportunity. They're not waiting for perfect conditions or comfortable circumstances. They're embracing the discomfort of uncertainty and building ventures rooted in community impact rather than profit first models. One entrepreneur Christal interviewed described feeling physically ill before launching her business. Her family thought she was crazy for leaving a stable job during economic uncertainty. Her friends questioned her timing. Every logical voice said wait, but something deeper, that divine compass, pointed forward. She described the sensation as terrifying and clarifying all at once. That discomfort wasn't telling her to stop, it was confirming she was on the right path. Today, her wellness brand employs 15 people from her community and has changed countless lives. That's what happens when you follow discomfort instead of running from it. That's what happens when you recognize that sometimes the most uncomfortable path is actually your divine assignment. But embracing discomfort isn't just about career moves or business ventures, it's about something deeper, prioritizing purpose over position. In our conversation, Crystal emphasized that your journey isn't just about climbing ladders or collecting titles, it's about living intentionally, serving others, and aligning your daily actions with your deeper purpose and spiritual beliefs. She says something that stopped me in my tracks. Your position may feed your bank account, but your purpose feeds your soul. And a starving soul will eventually demand attention, often through discomfort. This reminds me of Ashley Brown's story from the Soft Girl Era podcast. When Ashley lost her corporate job during an economic downturn, she faced a critical choice: scramble for another position or listen to the uncomfortable pull towards something different. She chose the latter, deciding not just to survive, but to serve. She began offering consulting services based on her lived experience navigating adversity. The discomfort was intense. She had no business background, no safety net, just a clear sense that her purpose was calling her beyond her position. She told me I cried every morning for 3 months, not because I was sad, but because I was scared. And yet, beneath the fear was this certainty that I was finally on the right path. Today, her work has impacted hundreds of women who value authenticity over credentials alone. What Ashley discovered, what Crystal emphasizes, is that true fulfillment comes from connecting with others authentically, sharing your story, and being of service in every interaction. Position gives you a paycheck, purpose gives you peace. Position offers security, purpose offers significance. And sometimes the most uncomfortable moment of your life is simply your purpose knocking loudly because you've been ignoring the whispers. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you embrace discomfort as your compass and prioritize purpose over position, something magical happens in your relationships. You discover the power of intentional connection. Every relationship, no matter how brief, carries the potential for impact and transformation. By remaining open hearted and intentional in your interactions, even when it feels uncomfortable, you create space for meaningful exchanges that can uplift both yourself and those around you. Libra Ford's journey illustrates this beautifully. After years in a burnout prone executive life, chronic stress led her toward physical and emotional breakdown. The discomfort became impossible to ignore. Success, as she had defined it, had become misaligned from her true values and spiritual calling. Instead of pushing through, she made deliberate changes. She established daily intention setting and prayer rituals. She left high pressure roles despite external skepticism. Why would you leave stability? Colleagues asked. Her response was profound: because stability that's killing me slowly isn't actually stable. She built wellness programs teaching others practical strategies for prioritizing rest and community connection without guilt or shame attached. What's fascinating is how her intentional approach to her own healing created a ripple effect. Clients reported improved mental health outcomes and higher productivity after adopting these soft power principles themselves. Her willingness to be vulnerable, to share her story of burnout and recovery, created space for others to acknowledge their own struggles. That's the power of intentional connection. When you show up authentically, even when it's uncomfortable, you give others permission to do the same. When you honor your discomfort as divine guidance rather than inconvenient emotion, you create pathways for others to honor theirs too. Now, I can almost hear what some of you are thinking. This sounds great in theory, but my reality is complicated. I have responsibilities. People depend on me. I can't just follow discomfort wherever it leads. I hear you. And so would Crystal. This isn't about reckless abandonment of obligations. It's about honest discernment. It's about distinguishing between the discomfort of growth and the discomfort of harm. It's about taking thoughtful steps, not impulsive leaps. Remember those Black women entrepreneurs from Crystal Joyner's research? They didn't abandon their responsibilities, they reimagined them. They created business models that honor their commitments to family and community while still pursuing their visions. They practiced radical self care, not as a luxury, but as a strategy, understanding that they couldn't serve from an empty well. They embraced what Crystal calls the both and, both responsibility and growth, both service and self care, both stability and evolution, both honoring where you are and moving toward where you're called to be. This approach requires something that might feel uncomfortable at first: faith. Not necessarily religious faith, though that's certainly part of it for many, but faith in the process. Faith that discomfort has purpose. Faith that when one door closes, another opens. Faith that you are being guided even when the path isn't clear. In our conversation, Crystal emphasized that this faith isn't passive, it's active, it's intentional. It involves prayer, yes, but also preparation. It involves surrender, yes, but also strategy. It's about co creating with the divine rather than simply waiting for divine intervention. This reminds me of a powerful insight from the Soft Girl Era podcast. Faith without action is just wishful thinking. The entrepreneurs featured didn't just pray for opportunities, they positioned themselves to receive them. They didn't just hope for funding, they researched alternative pathways like crowdfunding and community grants. They didn't just dream of impact, they designed for it. Their faith gave them courage to face discomfort. Their action transformed that discomfort into growth. So, where does this leave us? How do we actually practice embracing discomfort as our compass? How do we prioritize purpose over position? How do we cultivate intentional connection? It starts with a simple but profound shift: seeing discomfort not as a warning to retreat, but as an invitation to explore. When you feel that knot in your stomach before speaking your truth, lean in. When you feel that flutter of anxiety before trying something new, move forward. When you feel that heaviness when considering a necessary ending, honor it. These feelings aren't trying to stop you, they're trying to show you what matters. I challenge you today. Identify one area in your life where discomfort keeps surfacing, be it a relationship dynamic, a limiting belief, or a professional crossroads. Instead of ignoring it, Take one small action this week. Journal about it, pray intentionally, or start an honest conversation. Commit yourself openly to God, yourself, and someone else that you'll move forward even if it's uncomfortable. Because here's what Crystal helped me understand: discomfort isn't the enemy of peace, it's often the pathway to it. The women in our examples didn't find peace by avoiding discomfort, they found it by moving through discomfort toward alignment. They discovered that true peace doesn't come from perfect circumstances, but from purposeful choices, not from the absence of challenges, but from the presence of meaning. As we conclude today, I want to leave you with this: your discomfort is not a defect in your divine design, it's a feature. It's not a punishment. It's a promotion waiting to happen. It's not evidence that you're on the wrong path. It might be confirmation that you're finally approaching the right one. So the next time discomfort comes knocking, and it will, don't rush to silence it. Don't numb it. Don't negotiate with it. Instead, welcome it as the divine messenger it is. Listen to what it's trying to tell you about your next evolution. Then take that brave step forward, knowing that on the other side of your greatest discomfort often lies your greatest calling. The world doesn't need more comfortable people, it needs more courageous ones. It needs you, fully alive, purposefully uncomfortable, and divinely guided. Thank you.